So I understand, boys, that this March Madness nonsense has began, and there's a number of other things going on, in Philadelphia sports. So what do you guys want to talk about today?
Like Brent just mentioned, obviously a big upset. Ohio State lost to Dayton today, and it's one of those things where it sets your day back a little bit. And I think that's one of the fun things about March Madness is I walked in, I sat down, pretty decent mood, and then, we're tracking this game, and obviously I picked Ohio State to win. Brent picked Dayton, and it was a heck of a pick on his part to pick that upset, but it set me back. I'm actually quite upset. I had Ohio State winning 2 games in the tournament. Now they're out already on day 1. But that's the fun of doing these brackets, and I think that's the funnest part about the NCAA tournament.
These are a lot of teams, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of games. How do they manage to fit all of this in?
It's nonstop.
How many games are there a day?
It's nonstop basketball. I'm just guessing. I think there's about normally 8 games in a day.
Mm-hmm. When does it start?
Just one after the other. Pretty early in the day. Normally around noon. Wow. They'll get the games going, and they'll go out sometime around midnight. So they're playing all day long from all the different sites. There's a lot of different host cities. So it's nonstop. It's a great day for a basketball fan to be able to sit down and from noon until you go to bed, you can just sit and watch basketball.
Yeah, girlfriends everywhere are bored and rolling their eyes.
Very. I agree. I picked St. Joe's, however, to win. I think they're going to, I want to see that Villanova-St. Joe's game so bad that I felt like I'd be hypocritical if I didn't pick it on my bracket. So I do have St. Joe's beating UConn. I have Villanova winning against Milwaukee, which is almost a given. Nothing's really a given in the tournament, but rarely does a 15 seed beat a 2.
I'm so sick of hearing the term Cinderella story because I feel like with March Madness, it goes hand in hand with Cinderella story.
I feel like there's so many upsets nowadays that there's really no such thing as a Cinderella. You go in knowing there's going to be probably 3 to 4 upsets that you didn't see coming at all. Dayton obviously proved it in the first game. And you're going to see that a lot throughout the tournament.
Does it usually happen that early on, or does it tend to be? Again, this is the first year for everybody out there, all of our listeners, that I actually follow this. Or I'm not going to watch the games, but I'm following it to a degree.
First round, there's normally a few upsets in the first round. The first game, that's really what surprised me. Usually you come out of the blocks, you get a couple wins on your bracket early, and you're feeling good, and then someone breaks your heart. But Dayton broke my heart really, really early in this tournament. So I'm looking for some bounce-back wins later on.
Now let's get this straight. Ray, you wanted Dayton.
I wanted Ohio State.
You wanted Ohio State, but Brent, you picked Dayton.
And Dayton won. I gave Ohio State the benefit, being the higher seed. It's a 6 against an 11, so it's not like it's a 9-8 matchup. You would think on almost any day, Ohio State wins that basketball game. Aaron Kraft is a heck of a player, a leader on that team. You expect him to show up big and make sure they at least get by the first round, and especially against a team in your state. Ohio State, you have to prove that you're the best team in the state, and they didn't do that today. There are a lot of sad fans, trust me, at Ohio State right now because this was a big upset.
Do you think maybe that had to do with Dayton kind of coming in with a chip on their shoulder?
It means a lot to them, especially when there's going to be fans. There's probably fans in Ohio households, some from Dayton, some from Ohio State. So this is a big game for a lot of these Dayton guys.
Ruins
a lot
friendships,
of those guys,
hurts families.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of those guys on Dayton's team probably weren't recruited by Ohio State, coming out of high school. It is what it is at this point. The next round is either going to be Syracuse or Western Michigan. I have Syracuse advancing. So I think it's going to be an interesting game now that Dayton's got a little bit of a momentum on their side.
Yeah. They explained this to me yesterday, and I just kind of looked at them like, you're speaking Greek to me, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's one of those things you got to delve into it, I think, to really understand
it. It's so far from what I've heard. You are less likely to win the more you delve into it. The more knowledgeable you are, the less likely you are to win these brackets.
It's very interesting. It's like you got to delve into it to get the little nuances, but I think the less you know, the better off you'll be in terms of making your picks.
I picked blind, and like I said, my 4-year-old helped my boyfriend pick. And
your 4-year-old probably picked Dayton over Ohio State.
There's a good chance of it.
Yeah.
What games can we expect next, and where do you see those going?
Well, tonight it's all about the local games, and I got Villanova beating Milwaukee. I have St. Joe's upsetting UConn, so I'm really hoping that comes to fruition. And then that Delaware-Michigan State game, I feel bad for the Blue Hens because I think they have a good program this year, and kudos to them for making the tournament. Program. But they ran into a really good 4-seed Michigan State. Yeah. So I do have Michigan State doing what they're supposed to do and beating Delaware. I have Louisville in my Final Four coming out of the American Athletic Conference. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people, defending champions. And just to put it out there, because I don't know if it's going to happen now, but my pick to win it all is Arizona.